Oh, didn't see you there. You're early. That's okay. I know you're hungry. Grab a seat, get comfortable. You're going to love what we're making. Tonight on Family Dinner.
Here's a meal that you can cook today that'll make you say this one's a winner on Family Dinner.
I'm so glad you're here and I hope you're hungry because tonight's dinner is gonna make you wanna kiss the chef. Anyways, tonight for dinner, we are making Dijon Honey Roasted Chicken Thighs with miso butter sweet potatoes, super easy garlic sesame green beans, and a really quick habanero scallion Greek yogurt sauce. I am so excited to get this cooking. It's gonna come together really quickly. The hardest part of this recipe is literally measuring out the ingredients. And if you don't wanna measure them, measure with your heart. Just take everything out, measure with your heart, get it in the oven, and you're done. Either way, it's going to be delicious. So let's get started. As you know, this recipe is a part of my Relaxed Dinners Covered meal plan series where I post 5-day meal plans, including a breakfast meal prep for 4 people or 2 people who like to take leftovers for lunch. I let you guys vote in my Instagram broadcast channel on what recipe you want to see me make on YouTube, and this is the one that won. If you want to vote for the next one, join my broadcast channel at Hungry Mockingbird on Instagram. Anyways, let's get into what the rest of the menu is for the week, and then we'll start cooking. For our breakfast meal prep, we have turkey sausage breakfast burritos, and then for our dinners, we have a chipotle chicken BLT with a baked potato soup, Italian sausage baked ziti with a creamy herb sauce and hidden veggies, my dad's signature beef enchiladas served with braised Swiss chard and Spanish rice, and then some messy marinara meatball sliders with herb roasted potatoes. And then of course, our roasted chicken thighs and our sweet potatoes. I'm really excited for this week's menu. I hope you love it. You can find the link to it in the description. It's on my Substack. I post it twice a month, so be on the lookout for that. Now, without further ado, let's get into the recipe because that's what you're really here for. First up, let's get our chicken thighs marinating. The marinade flavor profile is really fresh and bright, so we're utilizing some fresh herbs and some bright lemon slices. We have our chicken in the bowl, pat it dry with a paper towel, and let's start on that marinade. I'm using a measuring cup to mix together the marinade. Oh my gosh, now you want focus? I'm using a measure. Oh my gosh, Taylor, please. I'm mixing together the marinade separately, so some of it can be reserved to baste the chicken later. Starting with 1/4 of a cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1/4 of a cup of honey, 1/3 of a cup of Dijon mustard, the juice of half a lemon, 1 tablespoon of salt, half a tablespoon of black pepper, and then you can use 2 fresh minced garlic cloves or half a tablespoon of garlic powder. This is half a tablespoon of finely chopped fresh rosemary, half a tablespoon of finely chopped fresh thyme, half a tablespoon of finely chopped fresh sage, and then 1/4 of a cup of chopped parsley. And I'll show you how to take the thyme off of the stem. Okay, so you see the little thyme flowers, how these face up. They face up, you wanna pinch it from the top and then just slide your fingers down. Make sure you really pinch it at the top so that you can get that stem clean. Drop that in, and then if there's any little stragglers, you can just pinch them off like that. Now we have a beautiful de-stemmed thyme leaf. Let's add our fresh herbs to our marinade and then mix it up. Now another reason I love to mix my marinade separately is because you can taste it and see if you like it and then season it accordingly. Now I think this is perfect. When I make a marinade for any kind of meat, I like it to be a little over salted because when you add it to the meat, it's gonna really absorb all that flavor. And sometimes I feel like when it's just on par, it tastes bland once it's on the protein. So salt it just a little more than you think you would like it, and then add it to your protein. Once the marinade is to your liking, go ahead and take your chicken and pour your marinade over, reserving about half a cup for the basting process. And mix it together. Oh, this is gonna be so delicious. That's all done, now set it to the side. Now for the sweet potatoes, we're gonna go ahead and mix them on the prepared sheet tray that I have to save time and dishes because no one likes doing dishes. I have some sweet potatoes that I've already cut up, but I reserved one to show you how I do it. Because I feel like when making sweet potatoes or any potato kind, when you're roasting it, if you don't cut it properly, it's not going to be done at the end of the cooking process, you know? So let me show you how I do mine to ensure that they are tender by the end. So you have your peeled sweet potato. Now what I think the easiest way for you to do this at home is to just start chopping about 1-inch little discs. Try to keep your knife as straight as possible as you're chopping because this is gonna help keep it even as well. But just start making those like 1-inch little slices. Bueno. Now for the butts, I just cut them in half, throw them in the bowl, half in the bowl. Now you can start stacking, and then in half that way, turn, and then half that way. In. Now you're gonna do this until you get to those super thick parts of the potato where cutting it like this would make it too large. So like right here. So sometimes I'll do this and I'll cut it if I know that this is like a thicker part, and then I'll cut it into 3s instead of just that one line. You have this little nugget, you could just put this in there. I hope you feel like a pro now, because you are. That's the easiest way. I've seen so many ways to cut potatoes. I feel like a lot of them, especially the way that I was taught in like my high school culinary program, it just feels like it wastes a lot of potatoes. And if you're not super confident with a knife or don't keep up with your knife's sharpness, cutting it the way a lot of chefs cut it will honestly get you hurt sometimes, and again, waste a lot of potato. So I think this is the easiest way to do it at home with what you have. If you have a better way, let me know. I'm curious to know if anyone has a better way to cut potatoes, but I feel like this is the standard way to cut them at home when you're just cooking for yourself and you want something quick but still done. Yeah. Let's get these bad boys seasoned. When I recipe tested this the first time, one of the mistakes that I made when it didn't come out right was not letting my potatoes lay out flat and evenly. So that is what we're going to do today. We want to make sure our potatoes lay as flat and in one layer as possible. I'm using 2 pounds of sweet potatoes, so make sure when you get your potatoes, you weigh them so that you know exactly how much you're gonna have and if it will fit on your sheet tray. So if you get exactly 2 pounds of sweet potatoes, it will fit on your sheet tray. We're gonna start out with a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper. This is to taste. Then you can use 1-inch knob of fresh ginger grated or 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. And I also have 1 teaspoon of chili powder. You can add more if you want it super spicy, or you can not include that if you don't like spice at all. Next, we have 2 teaspoons of rice or white wine vinegar, half a tablespoon of soy sauce, and then 1 teaspoon of mirin. And keep your unsalted butter and miso paste to the side because we're gonna use that after they're done cooking a little bit. Toss them together to get them nice and well coated. This smells so insanely amazing. I know you're probably watching this like, girl, of course you're gonna say your food is good. But guys, let me tell you, there are so many recipes that I will film and create that never see the light of day because I will not let you spend your hard-earned money on groceries to make a bad meal. I just can't do that. But I understand food is subjective, so it is one thing for it to be properly made and you just don't like the taste, but there are so many times where I'll make recipes and it just does not work out. Like this, for instance, is in fact a reshoot. I tried my original recipe yesterday. I had already recipe tested it, but for some reason it just did not seem foolproof. Like it was like, okay, well I can kind of like finick with it, but I'm also a professional chef. So if I have to finick with something to make it taste good, I in good faith cannot force other people to do that as well. I need something that is easy for you guys to make and is actually delicious. And again, say that to say, this is actually delicious. Once you got them well combined, make sure you flatten them back out so that they each have their own little area and they're all laying flat. Grab your beautifully marinated chicken and place it right on top, making sure each little thigh has its own space and the skin is facing up. All right, just make sure you are spreading them out the best that you can on your sheet tray like so. Try to make sure that they aren't touching and they each have like a little bit of space for the heat to circulate. Use your spatula to scrape the bowl and top each little thigh with that marinade. This is the reason we didn't add any oil to our potatoes, because it's gonna seep down and we don't want it to be greasy. We want it to be bright and fresh. Now we have the other half of our lemon. I cut it into slices and then cut the slices into halves so that we had 4 little halves that can go on top of each little thigh. Now, wasn't that so easy? The oven is preheated to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and let's get this bad boy in. Now, while that cooks, let's get started on what I think is the best way to make green beans in the entire world. My garlic sesame green beans. If you're new here, welcome to the club. You're never gonna hear me shut up about them. If you're not new here, sorry, yes, we're making the green beans again because they are that good and that simple. All you need, olive oil and everything bagel seasoning. And if you're in the mood for a little extra salt, you want a little bit of a salty bite, you can add a pinch of salt. But at the base of the recipe, this is all you need. And I know you're thinking, everything bagel seasoning. Let me tell you about everything bagel seasoning. It is one of my favorites because all it is a garlic sesame seasoning. It is literally just gentrified garlic sesame seasoning. So I use it on everything because garlic sesame, duh. All you do, drizzle over olive oil. And sprinkle on your seasoning. I like to use about 2 to 3 tablespoons. Swish, 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 swish. And that's it. Now these are ready to go in the oven. The chicken has literally only been in the oven for 1 minute and our green beans are already prepped and ready to go. We're gonna pop these in when the chicken has about 15 minutes left so that these can cook and finish out. Now while we have time to kill, let's make our yogurt sauce. If you're following the meal plan, this yogurt sauce is to help us get rid of some of the yogurt that is on the grocery list. But if you're not following the meal plan, totally okay. Omit if you don't want it, but I do think you're missing out. So anyways, I'm gonna use my food processor to make mine, but if you don't have one, that's okay. Just finely chop everything together and mix it together. Starting with a 1/2 cup of plain Greek yogurt, non-fat. Next, going in with roughly a 1/4 cup of chopped parsley, 3 stalks of green onion, roots removed. Oh my gosh, you didn't see that? 2 habaneros, de-seeded, unless you're into that kind of thing. The cheek of the lemon that we sliced earlier for the chicken. Just want a little bit of acidity to cut through the fat of that yogurt. Then let's go mix her up. And we're back. Let's do a texture check. This is what we're working with. I added a little bit of water to loosen it up because my yogurt was a little thick. And if your yogurt's also a little thick, just add in 1 teaspoon of water at a time until it gets to the consistency that you think you like. Now for the fun part, we're gonna season to taste. Take my blade out. I'm gonna add in a little bit of salt and pepper. Now, if you salted and pepper it and you feel like you've added enough salt, but it's still not tasting right to you, add in a little bit of vinegar, or if you have a little bit more lemon left, squeeze that in, because that means that you didn't have enough juice in the cheek of your lemon, or I like to call it the butt, because calling it the butt is so much more fun. Yeah, just add a little bit of an acid and it's gonna make it taste exactly how you want. Because when you are eating something that's super fatty, like a yogurt or like an oil or something with butter in it, you're not going to be able to taste it because that fat coats your tongue. So the acid is going to break through that fat so that your receptors can yum, 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 you know? I'm really excited for this sauce because I cannot be the only one that is obsessed with roasted chicken in a yogurt sauce. Wow. Once you've got it seasoned to your liking, go ahead and pour it in whatever you want to serve it in and put it to the side. Our chicken and potatoes only have 15 minutes left, so let's get our green beans in and baste our chicken. To baste, we're just gonna take a little spoonful, add it right on top. It should be roughly 1 tablespoon going on each chicken. Let's keep letting it cook. This is my favorite part of making oven meals, is when you can just let it cook and go do what you need to do. I need to clean my kitchen because when I'm eating an oven meal, I love to be able to sit down and enjoy my meal after a really long day in a clean home. So I'm gonna go straighten up for these last 15 minutes. And if you are too, cool. If you're not, cool. All right, I'll see you in 15 minutes. Our chicken, potatoes, and green beans are ready to come out of the oven. Everything smells amazing. Everything looks even better. I mean, come on. Now I have this gorgeous platter. We're gonna set our green beans and our chicken thighs aside on. Toss the sweet potatoes in a little bit of miso paste and some unsalted butter. Pop it in the oven while we let the chicken rest for about 5 minutes, and then it'll be time to enjoy our family dinner. I'm gonna start the plate with our beautiful sauce. Grab our chicken pieces and then layer them beautifully. Try to keep that lemon on top intact as it is a beautiful garnish. Try not to grab any of those little potatoes. Now let's make some space for our green bean. Wow. Is your mouth watering yet? Because mine is. I am so ready to dig in. We're almost there. I have 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, 1/4 of a cup of miso paste. We're going to mix this in our sweet potato, pop it in the oven for 5 more minutes just to get a really nice miso butter glaze going, and then we'll be ready to serve. And that's it. I told you, the hardest part of this recipe really is measuring out the ingredients. And if you know how to measure with your heart, you're already way ahead of everybody else. Let's get our sweet potato seasoned. I don't know why I said seasoned, I meant glazed. Nonetheless, I'm gonna cut my butter into tablespoons, so then we should have 4 equal tablespoons. And then I'm just gonna drop the tablespoons in. The potatoes are gonna be hot enough to where the heat really starts to melt it before it even goes into the oven, and it'll combine really, really nicely. See how it is starting to melt? Now add on that miso paste and give it a good stir. You see how it's starting to get thick and really turn into a nice buttered glaze. This is one of my favorite techniques when I want a nice glazed, creamy, roasted potato. It reminds me of a monte au beurre, where you take cold knobs of butter and add it to a sauce that's done cooking, whisk it in, and it creates a really smooth, velvety, glossy sauce that has an enhanced flavor. Just in case you were wondering the science of that. We're gonna get these flattened back out as best as we can and broil them for 5 minutes. Now let me show you why we broil the potatoes. You see that beautiful miso butter char? Come on, let's give it a taste. Oh my gosh. Now that it's all done, just make sure you season to taste. I like my potatoes super savory, so I'm gonna add quite a bit of salt and some black pepper. Now let's get her on the tray. Nice and popping hot. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna let that cascade all over. Remember, presentation is what makes you feel better in life. You owe it to yourself to present yourself beautiful food. Doesn't matter what you're making, just take a second to tidy it up because you deserve it. Wow. I'm gonna make myself a little plate. Which chicken should I grab? I think you're the lucky winner. I'm gonna grab some potatoes from the sheet tray just to not mess up the beautiful family style plating. And then some green beans right off the top. And just because I can, I'm just gonna dip my chicken in the yogurt sauce. Also, let me know what you think of this family style plating. I've been kind of sitting on it, like, how can I plate things better for these videos? And I was like, family style, duh. I think it looks beautiful. It shows you how much food you're getting. And I think family style dining just makes you feel a little bit more community centered, which I think we need a lot of right now. So, anyways, let's give this a taste. I've got my tiny fork because I'm cool. All right. Oh, beautiful and tender. Should I try everything separately or together? I think separately at first. I'll humor you. I was really nervous about this because when I recipe tested yesterday, it didn't give Dijon honey to me. So when I did it again, it was better, but I didn't try the basting. So for this, the basting, I was like, okay, it has to work with the basting. And it did. It did. It did. I know you guys already think I'm weird, so I'm not gonna stop being weird. It's probably that miso butter is to die for. Oh my gosh. Green beans. I already know what my green beans taste like. They're my favorite ever. And I'm gonna dip the chicken in the sauce in a little close-up action so you can get that, what is it called? Where it like drips and cascades. It looks really good. We're gonna do that really quick. Wasn't that beautiful? Now let's taste it. Oh, this chicken is so tender. Yeah. I want to dip the potatoes in. Dip your potatoes in the sauce. I'm not going to say another word about that. Just dip the potatoes in the sauce. Oh my goodness. And yet again, you guys keep me humble because I did not think this one would win the poll. I really thought that Chipotle chicken BLT and baked potato soup was gonna win the poll, but yet again, I am so happy that you chose this one. Because honestly, it seems so simple, but when recipe testing, it can be a little complicated. And I think that I excelled way more than I would have if y'all had not chosen this one. Round of applause to you guys, because your minds, amazing. No more reshoots for me. This recipe is 100 out of 10. I hope you try it. It will be linked in the description for you to go replicate at home and follow along with this video. Thanks for watching Family Dinner. I love you so much. Like, subscribe, stay a while, watch the other videos, give me some feedback, etc., etc. Anyways, love you. Bye. Ciao.